Hello and welcome to class today. We are going to be doing a 60-minute flow, and this one is pregnancy friendly also, so you'll see a lot of different modifications for this too. If you are someone that may need modifications for injuries or other reasons, you can follow along with those as well, but you're going to be hearing a lot of pregnancy modifications, adaptations, and things like that. You'll notice I also have some tools here. I have my blocks and a blanket. If you do not have these, no worries. You could use books instead of blocks. You could grab a towel or a blanket, whatever you have. And then sometimes people use in pregnancy modifications a bolster. I personally don't have one and I enjoy just using a pillow. So I might have that and bring that in too. You could grab one, but you don't need any of these items. You can do it just fine without. So I am excited to get started today. Let's head on down to our mat, onto our knees. And before we get going, I just wanted to say that we are going to be focusing a lot on paying attention to our bodies, right? We are the one who knows our body best. So a lot of times we lose that skill to be intuitive to what our body needs the older we get. And I want you to really just have that skill, lean into it, listen to it. Maybe it does need to advance a pose. Maybe it needs to back off a pose. Maybe it needs to just sit in there, or maybe it needs to pause and take a child's pose. Practice this skill, especially to my pregnancy people who there's a lot going on in your body and you are really trying to figure out and feel like it's your own still. I want you to lean into that. So no matter who you are today, as we arrive onto this mat, we are going to just be in our bodies, be ready to flow, and be intuitive about what it may need and appreciative of seeing no matter what it is today that it needs, whether it's more or less or whatever it is, to just let it be. And let's go ahead and get flowing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start out in a child's pose. My feet are together, my knees are wide. If you have that belly, you might want to put your knees a little bit wider as well. And we are going to go ahead and lean on back. Our hands are crawled forward, as you can see, and we are bringing that opening into our upper back. Breathing in and out. In. Now go ahead and just be with your breath, move to that and sit in there in your breathing for a few more breaths. Go ahead and crawl your hands to the right side of your mat. And if your knees are bothering you at all or you need more space opening, you could always put your blanket up under your knees, or you could even keep your bottom up higher and give it a little bit more space for that belly, kind of in this position. But my arms are now to the right of my mat, opening that side of my body. Good, and on your next exhale, crawl to the center again. And on that exhale, we're going to crawl to the left now, opening the other side of our body. Beautiful. And now we're going to head back to center. I then want you to come up, and we are going to be on our hands and knees here for just a second. And then I want you to sit back onto your heels, right? And if this is bothering your knees at all, you could stay up high like this, because I know sometimes our knees might ache and things. And like I mentioned before, if this is bothering you on the ground, you could put a blanket down below too. So we are really going to be focusing a lot on our breath during this time. Our diaphragm is so important, and breathing properly really can help or hurt a lot of things like our digestion or even that pressure on our pelvic floor. To my pregnant folks, right, as we are gaining in our belly, as this baby grows, there's more and more pressure on the pelvic floor. So supporting through a proper breathing is really key. If we're just constantly seeing our belly move in and out in breath, we want to make sure we're leaning into that diaphragm breathing, right? So as I'm talking about that, try to think about where you are breathing. We're not going to be restricting or holding any breaths, especially as we are pregnant. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and move into a baby camel. So from here, I want to give a little bit of opening. You're going to crawl back, just like this. If this feels good, you could lean your head back. If it feels like too much, you could keep your hands here on your hips and just lean a little to provide that opening, to provide that, that opening of your chest, as well as the weight comes into our belly, our chest and our shoulders need that support. So opening that up can feel really nice. And then if you're worried about the balance, being next to the wall is something really helpful too. So let's go ahead and move into that. Good. And on the next exhale, I can crawl my hands back up here, right? If you're struggling with that, you could also use the wall. And then I'm going to come back and crawl out to my child's pose for one more second. Beautiful. And then meet me up in tabletop. Now, when I'm in tabletop in this position, once again, like I mentioned before, my knees might need that extra support. So never be afraid to grab this blanket or this towel. And I have it just folded up like this. And I could easily just support my knees a little bit more and this way here. And that just gives me a little bit more comfort, okay? So the other item is we want to make sure our knees are directly under our hips, as well as our hands directly under our shoulders to provide that support and a long spine. Okay, beautiful. Great. A lot of times our wrists might be bothering us too, so you might put the blanket under the wrist. You might move up into a fisted position, right? That might be something that helps your wrist as well. So we are in this tabletop, and now we have that long spine, our heads, we are looking down. Then I want you to go ahead and put the weight into the left hand and raise your right arm by your ear, hold, breathe out. And as you breathe out, the arm comes down. Great. Back to tabletop. Breathe in. Exhale. I'm just going to take an extra breath. Inhale. And as I exhale, arm goes up. And exhale. Arms back down to that tabletop. Now, I know for a lot of us, we have some tight calves going on, so we're going to move into a little bit of a calf stretch. So here is what I want you to do. We are staying in that tabletop, and I'm going to elongate my right leg, and I'm on my toe. It's still in line with what it was before, and I might push my hips back a little. We don't want to go too far. Remember, we do have relaxin in our body when we're pregnant, which means our muscles can be a little bit looser, so be mindful of that and don't overdo it. But I'm going just till I feel that little bit of stretch. This feels great for me. And let's return to tabletop on the next exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go ahead and push back our left one, and then we rock back. Feels so nice. All right, and back to tabletop. We don't realize all the places that we hold this. Okay, from here, we're moving into puppy dog pose. Now, puppy dog is a variation of child pose, but our butts are going to stay up. So we are in this tabletop. We're going to walk our hands out. And especially if you have that belly going, you're going to like the space that this brings. So our butt is up. I am making sure to allow my chest to drop down, right? This is going to be a stretch and opening in my chest. Amazing work. Go ahead and walk back up to tabletop. All right, from here, we are going to start with low lunge and with our knees down. Now, I have these blocks here, and if you do not have blocks, you can use books if you need this modification, or something hard and sturdy like that would give you a little bit of elevation. So let me show you how I would use this. Here is what the move would look like, right? We would be in tabletop, and we would step that leg through. You can assist your leg if you have kind of that belly going on. And let me scoot back a little. So you're going to be in tabletop. You would bring that leg through, around there you go. And we would be in a low lunge with our knee down. My right leg is forward here. Now, for some of you, you may need a little bit of that space on your belly as this is pregnancy friendly. So the blocks can really assist with that. We have a low setting that's pushing me up a little bit higher. I do have a medium setting. You can see the space is growing. Or if you really need a lot of space, you can put it up to the high setting, and that's helping to support me, bring that up without me having to hold all the weight of being up high. These let me kind of rest into that position so that I can feel that opening. I'm gonna stay like this so that we can see this modification, and I want you to go ahead and move into that now. Our hip, knee, and ankle are all in line here. And then I have my blocks, and I'm going to sit into that, and I can really feel it opening up in my hip, which gets really tight, right? I'm making sure I have that long chest, long spine. If I still need a little bit of space, I can also widen my foot a little bit to bring that opening here also. I'm going to remove my blocks to show as well what that looks like. And on the next exhale, we're going to move into half Hanuman, okay? So we are here, exhale, and I'm just straightening that front leg. Once again, you can stay using your blocks. I'm going to show them on the low setting. Great. And in that half Hanuman, my toes are pointed up. I want to make sure my hips are square. This is unsquare. This is square. If I need room for that belly, I can widen my leg to provide the space. And I'm really feeling this in the back of my hamstring, right? That opening there, which is so nice. So we're going to sit there. My gaze is up towards the front of my toe. Make sure you kind of have a little bend here. We don't want to lock it out. Keep that blood flow going. Great. And from here, we're going to move to our IT stretch. Okay, so we stay here. I'm just going to move it over a little bit left. So it's kind of creating a cross across my body. And this is stretching that outside part of my hip right here. You can't see it on the back side, but it's stretching over here. And I'm just going to lean here for a few breaths. My hips have become unsquared, so I'm rotating down. Good. I'm going to move my foot back center to that half Hanuman. Good. All right. And back into our low lunge. From here, we're going to take our warrior two variation with our knee down. Blocks can still be of use if you want. I'm going to turn this leg back. And I can still use my windmill. Great. And my knee is over my ankle, pushing forward. My arms are out to a T. Shoulders have dropped. And I'm going to gaze over my right hand. And this is that warrior two knee down variation. Great modification. All right, and peaceful warrior. Move forward. Bring that right arm down, right arm up, left arm down. Good. Amazing. Now I'm going to bring this right arm down by my heel and pushing the elbow into my knee, knee into elbow, and arm up overhead. Feel that expansive extension coming across your side body. Feel it a lot right here in my hip. I can tell I'm holding it a lot there. Great, and come on down to that low lunge again. Oops. Wrong way. Good. And then we're gonna come back to our peaceful warrior. You can bring the arm overhead. You could bring it behind if behind more feels good. And back to my extended side angle. Good. I'm feeling it a lot in my quads also. If you need a little bit more support, you could put your hand more down if that's a good modification for you, using the different levels of your blocks. Good. And from that extended side angle, we're going to turn back to our low lunge. My knee goes straight in the back again. Knee, ankle are in line, and I'm back in my low lunge. Remember, you can be on the ground. You can be here, here, or even here. Good. And meet me back in tabletop. Bring that right leg back. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, straight back. Remember, tabletop, we want it to be like that table. Pay attention to what your body needs as we're going. What did it feel on that side? Did you take some of those modifications? Did you need the blocks? This time, maybe you do. Do you kind of need to just like wiggle it out in this tabletop? See what your body needs, feel where it's maybe a little tight, and become intuitive of to what those needs are, right? Especially to my pregnant mamas, you are going to need this skill a lot as you become a mom. So really lean into that and let's pay attention to our bodies. All right, and let's just press back to child's pose to reset. And then we're going to push back up to a tabletop. Good, now we're going to do this on the other side. We'll go a little quicker now. All right, so left leg comes forward into the middle. Remember, if you need to guide it, go for it. More space, widen that leg. Blocks, feel free. And you have that low lunge happening. Good, now let's rock back on the next exhale. Hips need to be square. Unsquare would be they're like off, right? We want them square, we want them flat. Good, I really feel this a lot on my left leg. My toes are pointed up here, hands down. I might even, with how much I feel it, support myself with a little bit of blocks. Straightening the top of my back, I felt it starting to round. Good, I'm gonna move to that IT stretch. So if I can grab with my foot, or you can heel toe it over and then go back into it. And now that's that IT stretch where we have that angle across our body. Inhale and exhale, good. Let's do another breath, inhale and exhale. And go ahead and walk it back to that half Hanuman. Good, and then I'm going to return back. My leg comes up, moving my blocks away, into my low lunge. Keeping my chest long, you'll see I notice a rounding, and then I go, no, let's keep it long and let that happen. If that's hard for my belly, I can widen and give space here. Exhale. Good, inhale. Exhale. This time we are going to be doing warrior 2. So I am going to rotate around so that my back is not to you. All right, so I was here, low lunge, amazing. From here, we are going to be doing our warrior 2 again. So my right leg is going to twist to the side to support me. This leg is staying here, okay? Want it to be lined up with my hips. I want that knee over ankle, so not bend hand. We want to make sure it's pushed back over ankle. And then I'm going to windmill open, just like so. Beautiful. My shoulders drop. My gaze is over my left hand. What does your body need? Does it want you to push a little bit more into it? Does it want you to come up a little bit more out of it? Does it need a blanket under the knee to support it more? Does it need eyes closed to stay focused? That might be something too. All right, peaceful warrior. Push our bodies forward a little. Bring this left arm up. Right arm can go down to my leg, or you can do a little half bind around here if that feels good to you. Extended side angle. Left arm comes down to the side. Knee pushing into elbow, elbow into knee. And I'm going to make that side angle, right? So I want that elongation down the side. It feels so good. Making more space for baby, making more space just for us. Beautiful. Back to peaceful warrior. And extended side angle. Modification. I can put my hand on a block here, right? I can take my block, support myself in this way. Beautiful. Now, put this block back for us. Now I'm going to return back to low lunge. And really feeling that last opening in this hip. Beautiful. Okay, on the next exhale, bring that leg back. Meet me in tabletop. All right, from here, we're going to go up and back to down dog, okay? Now, if you are still in that first trimester or experiencing nausea, an inversion sometimes can make that worse. So if that's something for you that you're starting to feel, come out of the inversion feeling and just rock back to child's pose, and maybe you're pedaling out your feet in tabletop, getting those calf stretches. Whatever you need for your body, just know that upside down feeling can cause an increase in nausea. So let's go ahead, and we're in tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Beautiful. I put the pressure in my hands, and then I put my toes under, and I'm going to go ahead and push up and back. Oh, feel that expansion in the back of your body. Maybe even pedal it out if that feels good to you. Now go ahead and walk your feet up to your hands. If you need to take it a wider walk to make room for belly, go ahead and do so. Amazing. We're going to move into a forward fold. Now, once again, if you are experiencing your belly's in the way, widen those feet for your forward fold. But if it's good for you, you can keep them here. Forward fold. We're going to move into Tadasana. Now watch this the first time. I'm going to slightly bend my knees if I am, as a pregnancy modification to keep that blood flow going. And I'm going to place my hands here. And this helps me to stand up in a supported way instead of all that weight of the belly pulling up. So my back is staying flat. And then I am standing up and supporting myself into the Tadasana. Beautiful. Meet me here. We are going to go ahead and do a few sun salutations to really just center back down our body. You're probably feeling looser, opened, a lot of areas. That's great. Let's go ahead and take some breaths and move into our sun salutation. Inhale. Arms overhead. Prayer. Exhale down. If it feels good, close your eyes. Inhale. Prayer. Exhale. Make sure our knees are not locked out. Keep a little bend. Inhale. Go ahead and take that at your own pace for a few more breaths. Learning to breathe and take that space for ourselves is something that's really important throughout as we become mothers, parents, as well as beyond, right? We need to learn how to take those steps and model it as well, whether that's through your labor, whether that is once you have that newborn, whatever it may be, taking that time for breaths, you're going to lean back into this often and remember these moments of just breathing and how that brought so much calmness to your body. Even learning to read your body and what it needs. when it comes down to it, and you know your body and your baby best, you're gonna have to really use that skill a lot. And so we want to make sure we are using our practice to guide us there. Come into your last breaths. Good. And Tadasana. Amazing. We are now going to move into a wide lunge. Now with our wide lunge, I want you to go ahead and walk your hands down to the mat. And you are going to put your left knee down. Right leg is going to come outside of your hands. As we've been saying, use those blocks, right? Push up onto here. And we want to be knee up if we can, a wide lunge this time. Before we did this regular lunge, knee down, wide lunge. All right, as we're here, this one's gonna feel great. A lot of weight and stress on our chest and our back. So if this doesn't feel good to be up, that's totally fine. We're gonna be here, wide lunge, and I'm gonna do a cat-cow. Now, yoga cat-cow is, right, we're doing a full body belly drop, full body belly curve. For pregnancy, we do not want to be curving and moving that belly that way. It is all going to stay in our chest. So it's going to be a it's staying from like the bra line up, okay? So let me move back into my position. I'm in that wide lunge, right leg, and I am bringing my chest up. On the inhale, exhale, rounding down. There is no curvature of my belly occurring. Let's take a few more of those. And meet me back in wide lunge. Great. And then step the other leg forward. Hands on your knees. And you can stand up for Tadasana. Great. I'm going to turn sideways to give you this angle. On this one is going to feel so good and expansive here, right? And I remember when I was pregnant, just wanting as much space as possible here. It felt often like I couldn't breathe. And so much of our practice is going to be feeling that expansive space, okay? I am short, little, I'm 4'10", and so I just love that space. So I really wanted to incorporate that. So what I want you to do is put our hands up to a prayer overhead. And I want you to lean left to provide that stretch. Beautiful. Okay, and then you feel it on the right. Amazing. All right, this time I'm going to step left, stretch it out. Good. Come in. And I'm going to step right. Stretch it out. Good, and I'm left and I'm stretching. It's going to become like a flow. And I'll bring it in. And whatever feels good in your body. Let me move my blocks so you can see. So I'm here. Step right. Oh, and I just flow. So I want you to take a few moments, few breaths here. Tune into that body again. Where does it need that space? Where can you elongate? Are you going to be moving slower or quicker? What does your body need? Maybe you do a little twist of the shoulders at the top, right? Oh, that's nice. Keep on going. And go ahead and meet me back in Tadasana after that next one. Amazing. Wasn't that a good one? We're going to now move into that wide lunge on the left side. So I'm going to walk my hands down my knees, down to the floor. I'm going to put my knee down to support me. I'm going to step that left leg wide, right? Knee over ankle, hands inside. Beautiful. And then I'm going to pop that up using the block if I need it, of course. All right. And then I am here in my wide lunge left. Great. And then we're going to move into that left cat-cow just from the bra line up. So I go. On the next one, go ahead and Step that right foot forward or left foot back. Knees. And we stand. You can meet me in Tadasana. Amazing. From here, here's another opening we're going to do. I want you to step your feet a little outside of hip distance. Toes are pointing forward, hips are forward. And I want you to grab onto your hips and just feel again what your body needs and bring those in a circle. What direction does it need? Is it ready to switch? Does it need to switch often, right? Does it need to go more side to side? Bring that hip opening, pay attention to your hips. Beautiful. And then go ahead and meet me back in to Tadasana. From here, we are going to move into a warrior one. So I would like you to face the top of your mat. We are going to step our right leg forward. Knee and ankle need to be aligned, keeping that opening with your hip. Back leg is at a 45. We are facing forward. We have our arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing with our diaphragm, you might even feel as you're breathing the lowering and lifting of your pelvic floor and what that weight feels like. Beautiful. And meet me back by stepping into Tadasana. Amazing. All right, let's go ahead and do it to the other side. This time we are going to put our left leg forward, knee, ankle, hip in line. My right leg comes back. It's at a 45 degree. My arms go up. Good. And Tadasana. Amazing. We are going to move back to the right leg and we're going to be in a high lunge. Now this time, both legs are pointed forward, both toes. My hips are in line and I have a high lunge. If you are feeling misbalanced as you're pregnant, holding onto the wall and having that wall handy is a great way to do that. From here, we're going to put our arms down, around, up to the sky, bring them to prayer, and flow on down. And let's just be in our breath here. Inhale, and exhale. Take a few more at your own speed. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. From here, I want you to slightly lean forward, coming up onto that toe, and give me those Superman arms back here. And step up to Tadasana. Getting those glutes, they're strengthening as well. We know that that helps to support the pelvic floor and is really the foundation of a lot of our core. So getting glute strength, opening, all important parts for us. Okay, now we are going to step our right leg back and do that same thing on the left side. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. And our arms begin to flow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Leaning those hips forward on your next exhale and bringing those arms back. Good. We should feel that long line across our back, widening your leg if needed to provide space for belly. Good. On the next exhale, Tadasana. Arms can go overhead. And we're going to come into that forward fold. Remember, you can walk your hands to your knees and walk down to your forward fold. All right, this next move I'm going to show facing forward to you. So here is how this will look. I'm going to show facing you forward so you can see. And I want to show you this block here because a lot of us, as a modification for pregnancy, might want to use this. So this is one of my favorite moves, which is the Malasana squat. And what this would look like is my feet are angled out a little over hip distance. And I'm going to come down to an opening like this. And my knees are pressed against my elbows against knees, and I'm bringing that opening to chest. There is space there for the belly, but you might want a little bit of support, and you might want to sit here, and that might be the right level of support you need. You might want 2 blocks, maybe that's the level of support you need, and it still provides that opening for you. For me, this is getting a little high, but for you, you might need that block. Maybe the block is a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe you have a little bit of a sore pelvis or sore pubic bone. You could take that block with the blanket on top and just create that opening in the hips, the pelvis. This is one of my favorite moves, pregnant or not pregnant. So go ahead and meet me here now. I'll show you again how to get into it. Go out, arms, and come on down. I have my block set up. I can either see here, or if you like, you can be without it in general. I'm gonna keep mine there to show you. Just sitting and seeing, what does everything feel like? What does it need today? I'm feeling this a lot in my upper back. I must be carrying some things there. And I'm feeling it slowly release. Maybe you're feeling it in your hips or your pelvis. On your next breath, go ahead and meet me, hands down, in forward fold. You can bring those toes back in line with hips or farther out if you need. Good, and go ahead and walk those hands up to Tadasana. Great. All right, so meeting me back in Tadasana, we are going to be doing the figure 4 chair. So I would like you to bring arms overhead, and you're going to take then your hands to your hips. Bring that left leg up, and you're going to cross it over to make a chair, right? And it's making that figure 4. Now, if you're feeling wobbly, I might use my ledge here to make me feel supported, balanced. My toes are pointed up, it's making a flat. Great, and I'm seated back like a chair. Good, and then if you don't need the wall, you can have that prayer pose or hips, whatever helps you with that stability. Good, inhale, exhale. And go ahead and stand to a Tadasana. Amazing. Now let's do that on the right. Weight in left, right leg up, cross the right leg over, and beautiful. Other side, right? Weight in left, right leg up, cross it over, meet me in the chair. Holding the wall if you need. Feeling that in that hip opening. And on your next exhale, meet me in Tadasana. All right, this next one is our dancer's pose. Now, if you know dancer's pose, you might be like, how am I gonna do this pregnant? Don't worry, we have modifications along the way, so this is one that's gonna feel really good for opening up those hips. I would like you to go ahead and grab your left foot. You're gonna grab it from underneath like so. So your foot is on top of your hand, just like this from the inside, right? And this might feel good to you here. This might be as much dancer as you need today, right? Maybe you lean a little bit forward and that's feeling good to you right about here. And if you want to try for full, amazing, try that as well. If you want to hold the wall and try for full, and that makes you feel more stable, that's great too. Wherever you find it's a good match for you, take a few breaths there. Next breath, exhale, meet me back up. If you rocked forward, and then go ahead and meet me in Tadasana. Arms overhead. Arms overhead, and walk on down to a forward fold. Good. Now we're gonna go ahead and switch sides, stay dancer on the other side. So same thing, hand beneath, If you want to stay here, and this is as much opening as you need, great. If you want to lean a little, amazing. If you want to go full, go ahead and do so. And on your next exhale, come back to center and meet me in Tadasana. Arms overhead, and walk on down to your forward fold. Walk your hands forward a few inches, back to down dog. Good. Bring your right leg to sky and step it forward between your hands for low lunge. Remember to use your blocks if needed to bring that space to your belly. From here, we are going to windmill up to a warrior two opening. All right. Gaze over the right hand, knee in line with ankle. Shoulders are dropped. Good. From here, I want you to come up to star. I push to straight legs. This leg went from being pointed to 45 to being pointed out as I came up to star. And then I exhale and it goes back down to warrior two. We're going to flow there. Here we go. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Toes went out. And exhale. Toes went back this and this. Give me a few more there. And on your next exhale, meet me back in warrior two. Beautiful. From here, I want you to bring your right arm inside your knee for extended side angle. Beautiful. Use that block if needed. Good. And then you're going to come up to a peaceful warrior. Arm can go behind if you would like. Amazing. And back down to extended side angle. Good. And bring that arm behind if you can for a little bind. On your next exhale, peaceful warrior. And meet me back in warrior two to star pose. And then this time stay with your legs out. We're going to come down into horse pose. From here, I want you to just kind of move if you need. And you can sway side to side. Feel what feels good to you. Take a few breaths. And on your next exhale, meet me up in star. Beautiful. From there, I want you to bring that toe back to a 45, this toe to a front. Straighten the front leg. Bring that right arm forward. Coming down to triangle, and you can see here why it's called triangle. Remember, blocks are available underneath your hand if you need a little bit more space. And on your next exhale, meet me back in warrior two. And turning our both feet forward, meet me up in high lunge. Amazing. And stepping forward to Tadasana. Bring those arms overhead and go ahead and fold on down to a forward fold. Stepping back to a down dog. Three-legged dog left. Toes are pointed down, hips are square. Step it between your hands, using your block modification if needed. Beautiful. Warrior two, we're going to windmill, opening to the backside now. Inhale, exhale. We're going to do our star flow once again. Beautiful. Amazing job. All right, now let's go ahead and I'm going to turn the sides for you. As we are in our warrior two, we are going to move into extended side angle. Arms come down, extend that side, bring the opening, and then up to a peaceful warrior. Good, and back down. And up to a peaceful warrior. Take that bind. Good. And then back to a peaceful warrior. Warrior 2. Star pose. And come on back down into horse, moving your body in whatever way it needs to feel open. Maybe it just wants to do some rotations. Maybe it wants to go side to side. Maybe back up in star pose. Beautiful. Come back down to warrior 2. And this time we're going to move into triangle. So I'm bringing my left arm down, my right toes are pointed to the side, and I've created this triangle here. Really creating opening. Amazing. Bring back up to warrior 2. Both feet turn to the front, high lunge. Step up and meet me in Tadasana. Now that we are back into Tadasana, we are going to do a balance here, okay? So, Tadasana, and then we can do our arms overhead, down to prayer, and as we come to prayer, try to come up onto your tiptoes. Work that balance for a second. The wall is always here for you, right? Beautiful. I'm gonna do one more. Hold it if you can, or do those up-down variation if that's best for you today. Take 2 more. Meet me in Tadasana. Amazing. Arms come up overhead, and we are going to do a forward fold. Beautiful. Walking our arms out to a down dog. 3-legged dog right, leg goes up, hips are staying square. From here, we're going to bring it in to a pigeon. So, my knee is sitting outside of my hip here. I can bring this leg up and in line with it. And the goal is to bring this opening, this space here. If this is a lot for you, you could push up off of it a little. You could put a block up under your butt to hold you a little bit more, right? And remember, we have that relaxin pumping through our body, so be mindful of what is too far for you. So we can sit here, and if this feels good, stay here. If you would like to progress it some, we can also come into a pigeon fold. Now, if you're feeling this at all in your knee, you'll want to back off some. So maybe that means for you, you have a block down here or 2. Maybe you set up your blocks with your blanket to make it a little cozier. And you're just going to be folded here. Take a few breaths. Now I'm going to fully rest my head down. Go ahead and push yourself back up to the pigeon. It's an amazing pose. I'm going to leave these here for my other side. And I'm going to put my hands down. Step my leg back to a tabletop. From here, pushing up and back to a downward dog. And as I exhale, I kind of push my chest more through here to really get that opening. Right, it was here, and when I exhaled, I dropped it. Good, left leg up. My toes are pointed down. I step it through, and I'm gonna go first into that pigeon. All right, my knees out here. I might pull my toes forward to feel it a little bit more. And this might feel good to me, right? This might be where I need to stay. Just like this could be great. If your knee's hurting back here, you can put a blanket under it too. Make sure we're watching that relaxin, pumping through, right? That's that hormone that's really making our ligaments and things a lot looser during pregnancy. Thank you so much for that, but also we have to be mindful. All right, if you're ready to progress, go ahead and come into a pigeon fold. Use blocks or whatever you may need. On your next exhale, walk your hands up. Bring those knees up to a tabletop and push up and back to a downward dog. From there, I want you to take a seat, and if you want a little extra cushion under your bootay, You can go ahead and put a blanket there or a pillow, whatever you might want. And I want you seated with your knees bent. Widen them to provide that space for the belly if needed. I remember when I was pregnant, sitting like this just felt like a lot. So if you also need that extra seat, you could push, I'm gonna do just one block because of our next move. You could put a block to give you some space, put a blanket to give you some comfort. I'm gonna unfold it a little to really cover. Beautiful. Then sit, and now I'm in this, and there's a little bit of that space, that opening, so it doesn't feel so on me. So I'm sitting here, beautiful. I'm going to rock my knees open to a bound angle pose. Great, my feet are together, my knees are out wide, and I'm going to sit up straight. Go ahead and begin to close your eyes. As we know, we are winding down our flow, so I want you to really anchor and take in these last moments where all that matters is you, this baby in your belly, right? Maybe you have other kids at home. This might be the only time where you're not focused on them as well. Really start to wind it down. Be back between you and this mat. Feel the strength of your body, how much you've taken care of it today, the opening you might feel now. I'm feeling a lot of space in my side body and hips that I really needed. Amazing. Now I'm going to fold over a little. If this is enough for you, stop there. If you want more, you can keep going. If that hurts a little with the block, take the block out, move and groove as you need. So I'm going to pull my block out for me. I'm going to sit in bound angle. I'm going to rock it forward. My spine is staying straight. Not doing this. Spine is staying straight, and I know when to stop when I can't keep that straight anymore. Watch the relaxing. Amazing. Exhale. Inhale. Using my diaphragm, remembering these moments where I can zero in and think inside of my own body and mind for labor, for parenting, for life and beyond, all the things I might need these skills for. Good. From here, I want you to stay in this position, but crawl to the right knee. And now you might feel a deeper opening on this left hip, this left side. Let's take a few breaths over here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, walk back to center. And on your exhale, you guessed it, walk to the left. And now the opening will be felt on the right side. I notice I'm rounding again, so I'm going to refocus, bring this hand straight in. There we go. Your gaze can either stay low to stay back in that center, they can close, whatever you might need. Good, and come back to center. Beautiful. Okay, then I want you seated with your feet up on your mat. This might be a time again where you need that elevated space due to belly being there, whatever it might be. So I'm going to get this block back to model that. It does feel better sideways to give a little bit more of a cushion under there. If you need 2 blocks, that's a good way to do it too. Okay, so I'm like this. I am going to go ahead and, if I'm on the block, this is going to look a little bit different, but right leg out, left leg to pubic bone, right? And then I'm going to turn and lean over here. Okay, this might look more familiar if you're looking like this. I recommend it more down here. It kind of feels a little bit better. I don't like the way that block feels, but if their belly needs that space, it's totally fine. You might feel better with just a pillow. That would be a better way to do it beside the block. Go ahead and push up. Switching legs. Left leg out. Right leg comes in. Heel to pubic bone. Good. I'm lengthening my torso. I'm rotating towards left and I'm folding over. Really feeling the opening on this side. I can tell that this is where I need it. So pay attention, tune in. Where are you needing it today? That might not be always, but today and in this moment, what is it like, right? Things might be hard in the moment, but they will pass. The surges of labor, they will pass. A hard day with your newborn, it will pass. Toddlers, it will pass. Things change quickly. So Let's practice this moment now. Where is it feeling a little bit harder? How can you challenge it or just back off and sit with that for the day, right? Sometimes we need to press in. Sometimes we need to not. And on your next exhale, we are going to sit just like so, with our knees bent, hands behind. I want you to scoot your butt forward. Left leg stays planted. Right leg, if you need to assist it, bring it up and over your knee. Good. And you can play with how much this feels of a stretch by moving your butt closer to your foot or away. Closer is going to advance it. Okay. If this is hurting your wrists, you can put a blanket under them, whatever you may do, or you could even back off a little bit. Good. Go ahead and put that leg down and switch sides. Amazing. All right. From here, we are going to move into Shavasana. Now we are going to be doing a left side laying Shavasana. For this, we do not need any blocks at all. You might put a blanket to support the side of your belly and maybe a blanket over the top of you as well. I personally love to have a pillow for side lying Shavasana. You're already uncomfortable as it is. You could also use your arm on the left side, so it could look like this, or it could be more of this variation. You could have your blanket tucked up under your belly. This is always my favorite, to kind of hold that position up more. Or sometimes we just need a little comfort, and you might unravel your blanket some and put it more across you, okay? And so I'm going to lengthen out here for a side lying Shavasana. My bottom leg is bent to provide balance. Top leg is just like so. And my eyes are going to begin to close. I want you to take this time and really tune into your body once more. We've practiced this day, making sure that we are being mindful of what our body needs. Being the voice, the advocate is so important. You know your body, you know this baby best, right? Maybe take a hand to the belly, connect with baby. Remember, you are practicing this skill of being in tune with you and taking what you need. Let's take those moments now. Go ahead and begin to rub belly, rub baby. Amazing, right? As we join back into this day, we are going to be taking what we learned on this mat, leaning into what we need, tuning into baby, and slowing down or advancing when we need. From here, I want you to go ahead. You can keep your eyes closed. If you need, you can watch me first and reclose, whatever you need to do. We are going to be pushing up with our right hand to a seated position. I might move this pillow underneath me to give that space for belly. Hands are on our knees, maybe down if you're trying to ground into yourself, maybe up if you want to just receive more from whatever it is that you believe in. Amazing. As you head back into your day, trust yourself, trust your intuition, thank yourself for making this time, right? And think about the expansiveness, the openness you've brought into your body today. What are you going to fill that with? Is it full of joy? We don't need to fill it with more things to do or all the stuff that we need to get done or what people want from us. What are you going to fill that with? How can you take this expansiveness, this intuition, and knowing what you need into your day and thanking your body? Go ahead and take your hands to heart center with one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Thank you so much for meeting me here today on the mat. I hope that you feel rejuvenated, strong, and just as powerful as you are, and I can't wait to see you for the next one.